An academic has been stood down and referred to police by Australia's oldest university after tweeting Zionists should be executed. The University of Sydney's Farhad Ali posted last week, "F sanctions, I want Zionists executed like we executed Nazis." When that post was marked by X's violent speech, Ali doubled down. He wrote, "Don't tell me wanting to see these people hanged like the Nazis were post-Nuremberg is violent." Ali is now being investigated by both the university and New South Wales Police. Meanwhile, the uni's student protest leaders were questioned at a New South Wales parliamentary inquiry into anti-Semitism. One caught out for giving incorrect evidence about a billboard of Palestinian terrorists that was put up on campus.
There has never been any such billboard. There's no photographic evidence.
I would say that your claim that this billboard didn't exist is indeed fake news, because I have a photo of the billboard here.
We never saw any of this billboard.
The billboard featured this image of October 7 mastermind and Hamas military chief Mohammed Deif, among other Palestinian terrorists. Joining me now is the New South Wales Liberal Upper House MP Chris Rath, who exposed that student protester and led a lot of that questioning during the inquiry. Chris, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Well, look, it was infuriating to listen to some of that evidence justifying, for example, calls for intifada.
That's right. I think they're quite dismissive of anti-Semitism, these student leaders, and indeed so many, in particular at the University of Sydney. They try and say that intifada just means shake it off or shake off, which is ridiculous. We know that intifada is used as a term by so many to mean an armed and aggressive uprising. It has been a term that has inspired so many around the world to enact violence against the Jewish community and against the state of Israel. So I don't think that we should be turning a blind eye when people use terms like globalised intifada.
You also had the chance during this inquiry to question Sydney University leadership over its handling of these tweets by that academic Farhad Ali. The fact that an academic felt emboldened enough to execute Zionists in the first place, what do you think that says about our universities?
Yeah, I think that the universities have been very slow to act since October 7 on combating anti-Semitism. At the University of Sydney in particular, they did very little over 12 months. They didn't shut down the encampment that existed and that harassed and intimidated Jews. If you look at the Farhad Ali example, I think that anti-Semitism is rife at our universities, in particular at the University of Sydney. They try and hide behind terms like, well, if we say execute the Zionists, it's not actually anti-Semitic. They try and differentiate Zionism from the Jewish community. But we all know that that's complete and utter nonsense. No reasonable person would differentiate Zionism from anti-Semitism, and that link is I think really important.
Yeah, it's really disingenuous, and I think you exposed how they use that sort of coded language. I mean, 90% of Jews are Zionists, something like that figure, but of course non-Jews can be Zionists too. Many non-Jews are Zionists and believe Jews have the right to sovereignty in their own homeland. What did the universities have to say about their handling of the anti-Semitism crisis overall? I noticed that University of Sydney leadership actually said that they thought they handled the dismantling of the longest running pro-Palestinian encampment on their campus well compared to, say, campuses in the US.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of revisionist history there from the universities saying that they did a remarkable job, but we know that anti-Semitism has been on the rise at our universities since October 7. Less than half of all Jewish students and academics feel safe going to our universities. It's a terrible situation that we're in. I think the University of Sydney somewhat reluctantly acknowledged that they didn't get everything right. And I think one of the things that they didn't get right was allowing that encampment to exist for as long as it did. When you have an encampment that has links to a known terrorist organisation, Hizb ut-Tahrir, an encampment that proudly flies the flag of Hezbollah or the Taliban, or at least flags that resemble those flags, when you have an encampment that is deliberately intimidating and harassing Jewish students, I think that it went on for far too long. And one of their responses seemed to be that, well, there should be maybe another entrance into exams or into classes that Jewish students could use so that they didn't have to walk past the encampments and be harassed by these hard left activists. Well, I would suggest that the better approach would be to shut down the encampments and not to allow those encampments to occur, rather than segregating our Jewish students from everyone else by giving them a special entrance that they could use.
Yeah, I noticed the university said that it wasn't just for Jewish students, the alternative entry, but then again, who else was feeling as harassed by these encampments? Chris Rath, we're out of time, but I really appreciate you coming on. Thanks for your time.
No worries.